Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson is proving that he has absolutely no shame about his own hypocrisy and the hypocrisy of his party. In the wake of Republicans falsely labeling Renee Good and Alex Peretti domestic terrorists after ICE killed the protesters in Minnesota, and despite Donald Trump referring to immigrants as animals, Speaker Johnson told Fox News it's the Democrats who need to tone down their rhetoric.
You have some of the most prominent figures in the House and the Senate on the Democrat side effectively, calling for war. I mean, they use those kinds of metaphors, and it incites violence because there are crazy people in society, and they get radicalized online. And so we've got to recognize that it's time to turn down the rhetoric. We've been saying this over and over, and not use that kind of language.
But Johnson and other Republicans have only been saying it about Democrats. Whenever Donald Trump or GOP members of Congress call Democrats or the media enemies of the state or treasonous or seditious punishable by death, Johnson pretends he doesn't know anything about the rhetoric. Democrats uniformly condemn the alleged gunman at the White House Correspondents Dinner, and there's no evidence that that man's actions or the actions of the shooters in the two more threatening Trump assassination attempts were motivated or radicalized by Democratic criticism of Trump. Still, at the White House, spokesperson Karoline Leavitt also held nothing back in her hypocrisy and attacks on Democrats.
Those who constantly falsely label and slander the president as a fascist, as a threat to democracy, and compare him to Hitler to score political points are fueling this kind of violence. The left-wing cult of hatred against the president and all of those who support him and work for him has gotten multiple people hurt and killed, and it almost did so again this weekend.
You see, according to Leavitt, the hatred and violence directed at Donald Trump only stems from the slander and labels of Trump. In Leavitt's world, Donald Trump does nothing divisive, controversial, or inflammatory. Once upon a time, the Republican Party was the party of individual responsibility and accountability. Not with Trump. His sycophants believe that Trump is wonderful and nobody should ever be upset or angry with Trump. And the only reason they might be upset or angry is because, well, Democrats or the media are criticizing him. And by the way, even though Donald Trump is the president of the United States with control over law enforcement and the military, Karoline Leavitt now insists the bigger threat to safety and peace is late-night comedian Jimmy Kimmel. Before the incident at the White House Correspondents Dinner, Kimmel made a joke about 80-year-old Donald Trump's apparent health issues. Kimmel did a skit parodying the dinner. He pretended to be the host and said, "Our First Lady Melania's here. Look at her. So beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expected widow." Kimmel made no reference to murder or assassinations, but after the Correspondents' Dinner, conservatives replayed Kimmel's remarks and went wild. And Karoline Leavitt added this.
ABC's late-night host Jimmy Kimmel disgustingly called First Lady Melania Trump an expectant widow. Who in their right minds says a wife would be glowing over the potential murder of her beloved husband? And having experienced what I did with the First Lady on Saturday night, I can tell you that she was anything but that. This kind of rhetoric about the president, the first lady, and his supporters is completely deranged, and it's unbelievable that the American people are consuming it night after night after night.
Consuming a comedian's jokes night after night, that's the danger to America. The daily lies and divisive rhetoric from Karoline Leavitt, Donald Trump, and others in the administration, well, all of that should be ignored. The twisted logic is not just absurd, it is outrageous. But that's how Leavitt, Donald Trump, Mike Johnson, and other conservatives roll. They have no shame and no self-awareness. And by the way, the more we find out about the alleged gunman, the more we discover the Trump administration claims were false. Witnesses say security agents didn't tackle and bring down Cole Allen. Allen tripped. There are also claims Allen didn't fire a shot, and that the Secret Service agent shot in his bulletproof vest was struck by a shot fired from another officer. In other words, the heroism of the agents and the assassins' threats were not as the Trump administration claimed. And the public is left, yet again, unable to trust or believe the Trump team. One final point. Nearly all of us agree that violence should never be the way we resolve our differences. But some conservatives continue to whitewash America's history.
This is not a third world country. This is not a country where you change hands by bullets. You change hands by ballots.
That's our wish But the reality is that America has long been a country that changed hands by bullets. U.S. presidents shot and killed Kennedy, Lincoln, Garfield, McKinley. More than a dozen other presidents were shot at and survived. Other political figures shot and killed. RFK, MLK, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, Mayor Moscone, it goes on and on. Oh, and then there's the Civil War, arguably the most violent political conflict in U.S. history. It took the lives of over 650,000 people. We can wish as much as we want that in this day and age we settle our differences peacefully, but our political history in America is violent, soaked in blood, and chock full of shootings. It would be wonderful if incidents like the one at the White House Correspondents Dinner never happened, and everybody expressed their frustrations and differences peacefully and rationally. But that will be wishful thinking as long as the leaders of our government, including House Speaker Johnson, President Trump, and their minions, continue to lie and make outrageous, divisive claims. Changing the tone in America has to start at the top. And the only things that most Americans see right now at the top of our government with MAGA Republicans is hypocrisy, political expedience, and shamelessness. Did you know that the big wireless carriers like Verizon and AT&T made over $18 billion in profit last year? How? By overcharging you for unlimited data, most of which you probably aren't even using. But what if you could get paid to use your phone less and only pay for the data you do use? Well, with Noble Mobile, you can. For just $50 a month on their No Bull plan, you get unlimited data, and whatever data you don't use, you get cash back right in your pocket. People who switch to Noble can save an average of $500 to $1,000 a year. It's a no-brainer. And by switching to Noble, you're directly supporting TYT and our mission of bringing you honest, independent news. So give Noble a try and make the switch today. Scan the QR code on the screen now or visit go.tyt.com/plan. That's go.tyt.com/plan. By the way, 24 hours after the security incident, Donald Trump changed his conciliatory tone towards the press and melted down at 60 Minutes because the journalist on 60 Minutes mentioned the alleged shooter's references to Jeffrey Epstein.
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this, quote, "Administration officials, they are targets." And he also wrote this, "I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes." What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.